Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kai with Ka Intuitive. As promised, I am here with a reading, an extended reading on the message that I left yesterday, which was, what day was that? The 9th? The 10th? Yeah, Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. If you want to just go back and watch that, that's great, because to be real with you, I don't even remember exactly what I said. I just knew that I was going to break apart this reading a little bit more to kind of uncover more or less what I believe Spirit is trying to communicate or reach through the veil and communicate. Here is the card spread that I had when I first left that message. The energy of it that all of these things here stem from is this card here, is the light of truth. Okay. And I really want to talk about what that looks like as far within these confines, right? Within the context of this, of the energy that's going on in this time. So I know that a lot of tarot readers and such will say, oh, this is a timeless reading. And that is true in a lot of sense, but to be very real with you, this does not feel like a timeless reading. This feels like if you were watching this on February 11th, 2026, like this is very much talking about the time that we are in right now. Now, this doesn't mean that it can't apply to later on as the planets align and make their moves and do what they got to do, right? And it won't apply then. But it does very much off the bat give me the energy of right now. The time is now, right now. With the light of truth, we are talking about great exposure, okay? And of course, we know this in a collective sense of what's going on with the files, what's going on in the world at large. Illusions are being dismantled. Entire systems are being uprooted. The reality is that the illusions are no more. And now that things have kind of been lifted, we can't necessarily go back. Once we've been made aware, we can't go back into hiding. And should you choose to go into hiding, which people will opt for that, there's a very real, planetary, divine, fated interference with that desire. The desire to run away from what's real in order to live in fantasy is just not an option. It's just simply not an option. These cards really speak to victory coming through for those who have been vulnerable. And people that have not benefited from the systems, people that have been put in place, especially, right? People that have had to kind of make do with what they've been given all this time for generations, right? This is the beginning of an elevation of these voices and this energy. And I know that we've been seeing this in our day-to-days. We've been seeing it online. If you have social media, you've definitely been probably hearing these things. But I'm here to just be another voice in the ocean of saying, yes, this is real. Yes, this is happening. Yes, you are not crazy. Or no, you are not crazy, right? With light of truth, it's, this is giving us the energy of finally being able to see through the veil. And I keep saying that, see through the veil, see through the illusions, and really be able to dig into what is really going on now that reality has been released, right? From the clutches of that which benefits from our darkness, right? And I don't mean darkness in the sense of us being, dark or, negative or anything like that. I mean darkness as in not knowing, just whether it's ignorance is bliss or it's a genuine, just I had no idea, right? There is no room for I didn't know. Right now at this point, anybody who says I didn't know is a damn liar. Okay. Or I didn't realize, there's no room for that. Spirit, and I will pull more cards with this because honestly, like I said, these are the cards from yesterday, and there are things that I'm still not 100% on that are going to take unfolding, which really brings me to the timing of everything, right? The timing card that we have here is Dead Man's Fingers. And with that energy, I mean, it's picking up on the fact that this is all fated and this is karmic. This is not something, what's going on in the universe right now is not something that any one of us can escape. This is not, spirits, it's kind of creepy, right? But it's kind of giving, I can't remember his name, Dr. Oh my gosh, I should know this because it's from Princess and the Frog. And I cannot remember his name right now, but he was the witch doctor, right? And though I don't love expressing voodoo or hoodoo in a negative light, and I don't agree with that, I will say that it is giving, like, those who have made the deals to keep themselves in power, keep themselves in control, keep themselves, and I'm not just talking about on a global level, I'm talking about people in your own life, because those people walk amongst us. Like, this is on every level. Abusers, manipulators, people that have, like, really been serving their own self, really been pouring into themselves and giving very little, if anything at all, to the people in their lives that they're responsible for, that they should be held, like, accountable for. Like, all of that is now they are now coming up and being summoned. This sounds crazy as fuck, but those people are now being billed. Okay. Like, the contract's up, the deal has expired, all of that. And this, like I said, we see this in a collective sense, but this is also giving our very personal lives, right? People who have benefited from your disillusionment, people that have benefited from a lack of boundary, and not because you haven't tried to set it, but because you didn't know to set it. You didn't realize, you were like, but you're my mom, you're my dad, you're my husband, you're my wife, you're my partner, you're my, whatever, right? These illusions, these people that are siphoning from those that are really just out here just trying to live. They're not causing harm. They're not causing disruptions. Like, they're really just out here trying to do what they need to do in order to survive. And this can, like I said, this goes deeper than just, community, or I'm sorry, collective. This also goes into your own homes. And for those people who are there right now in their home, dealing with abusive situations and power dynamics that are never seemingly in your favor, even though you're like, wait, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm seeing this clearly, right? And, like, have had to kind of deal with, like, feeling gaslit constantly. And really kind of believing, finally, like, coming to a place where you, like, really believe, like, okay, maybe I am the problem. Maybe it is me, right? Like, this energy is reaching into you and turning the light on, right? And to say, like, no, like, you now are responsible for removing yourself from this space, right? And that brings me to who's here to help, right? Because you're not going to do this alone. And I know that in America right now, especially, there's a lot of, like, well, what do we do? What do we do? How do we fix this? How do we, whatever. I don't have the answers, mostly because I haven't really been asking, because it's truly just, my truest belief at this time is that we don't know everything yet. We don't know enough yet to know exactly how to fight. Now, I do believe at the same time, because I hear people being like, what do you mean? We know, right? It's like, okay, if you feel that way, then do something. If you feel that we know enough, then do something. If you are on my side of understanding that this is probably and most likely bigger than us as a people, that was the energy that was coming through these cards that actually just, like, me saying this, like, reminded me. And I'm sure that a lot of people, like, logged off of what I'm saying because it's very unpopular and very, like, passive. And it's like, we've been passive. We did it. Actually, we haven't even been passive. We've been asleep. Like, and so imagine, and Spirit's, like, kind of showing me this, right? Imagine getting woken up. You're hella disoriented. And people are like, come on. We got to go outside. We got to raid. We got to... What the fuck are you going to... You know what I mean? Like, what am I grabbing? What is it? You're like, oh my God, I got to walk my fish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not even there. You're not even awake and alert enough. And it's not that it's the situation that's we don't know enough. It's like we literally are not clear yet on ourselves, on what we can do, on what we can bring to the table. That has to happen first before we know how to deal with this, because we can't fight with the old tools, because this is calling us to a deeper space within ourselves as humans, because this is not a human versus human issue. And I know that that sounds really crazy. Hasn't it always? It's been crazy. I know it sounds insane, in the same way that for Rick in Walking Dead, got out of the hospital bed after being in a coma and walked outside and was trying to help people, and they were trying to eat him, right? Like, it's that same energy, right? We are all just kind of coming to. Some of us have been aware and have been doing what they felt they needed to do, whether it was speak on it, write about it, make art about it, riot about it, vote about it, whatever, right? I don't know. But I really believe that it's only going to become more clear now that the initial light of truth has been shown. It's also revealing to us a path to take. We can't necessarily, and Spirit says this, and this is supported by the cards that I'm seeing, we can't necessarily move while everything is still spinning and we haven't landed yet. We haven't landed. And I don't know what that's going to look like, to be honest with you guys, right? What I do know through these cards that have come through, now moving over to universal knowledge, right? Not only is this knowledge being shared through voice, through the way that we're communicating with each other, us talking to each other about what we've seen, what we've know, what's still yet to know, the fears that we're feeling, all this stuff that all kind of encompasses what I think of universal knowledge. I think of like everything that is shared, knowledge that is shared, wisdom that is shared. But the way that this universal knowledge energy was coming through was in like, and I've talked about the Hermit card, the Hermit card's been popping up a lot, was this came across as like Jesus in the desert, right? The 40, I think, what is it, 40 days, 40 nights or something like that, where he had to kind of sit with himself. And any spiritual, like, ascended master has always had to have this quiet space of, okay, what is my mission? Who am I in this mission? What is the solution here, right? Like, what is it that I can do realistically in a real way? Because the reality is, you guys, it's like not one person or type of person or, can like handle this on our own. It's going to take all of us, but it looks different for each person. And that's what, the people that are like, we should be out there rioting. It's like, okay, well then go do that. Like, you sound sure. But there are other people that have their hesitations. I keep coming back to that for some reason, but there are other people that have their hesitations, whether it be fear or whatever. That's something that they have to come to understand for themselves. Like, we can't force people out of bed just yet. You know what I mean? That only slows down whatever momentum needs to be building. Worrying about people that are not yet ready or you're not yet here, or haven't fully arrived, right, to what they can do, what part they play. Though it's very frustrating, and I get that. It's very frustrating, but Spirit says, like, allow me to do that part, right? Allow the uncovering, the continuous, like, unveiling and like showcasing like who's the monster, where we, like, it's almost like Spirit is the lantern and our job is to just follow that, right? It's like there's these lights being, like, we're walking down a very dark hall and there's like a light at, somebody, right, is holding this light and kind of showing us what needs to be dealt with. And as it's showing us what needs to be dealt with, people from that lineup are peeling off and handling that aspect of it, right? That's the energy. It's very big on, we can't do, not everybody is suited for everything, right? So universal knowledge would talk to us in this space. When I sat with this card, read about this card too within the deck, this is from the Pleidian deck. it came across as needing to tap into our DNA, needing to tap into our ancestors, and understanding our story, as especially for brown and black people, indigenous people. But also, I don't want to leave out white folks, like in this case, because they are a part of the collective. This message, however, because it's talking about your DNA, we're not just talking about the people that colonized others, right? Which I do believe that as a white person, you should definitely be doing a lot more work surrounding that theme, right? The colonialization, decolonizing our minds, decentering our allegiance, with white supremacy. And that's for everybody across the board, because we all have a colonizer's mentality, because it's been ingrained in us for generations, right? No matter what. So we need to see where that comes alive at, because that's kind of where it's infected, right? Like Spirit's saying, like, that's where we've been bitten. That's where the virus is spread. Like, that's how it's able to spread or like stay. It's like laying dormant. That's very nasty. Now that I'm getting a lot of imagery of like bugs, maggots, just like leeches, very negative. It's like, that's the strain. Like that's the poisonous strain that's like continuously keeping people sick. Is that like Western ideology, which this card talks about, is like de-centering like Western ideology, and in turn switching it for, trading it in for your lineage beliefs, like your rooted beliefs, because everybody has an indigenous land somewhere. This brings me to that conversation of how whiteness isn't real. It's a state of mind. It's a classification. A heavy outline on the word class. And when I kind of lost my train of thought when I said that. Whiteness that's the virus, because the reality is that you are not white, you are Irish, right? You are not white, you are Scottish. You are not white, you are English. You are not white, you are Czechoslovakian. You are not white, you are German. You are not white, you are... And once we kind of can peel away from that, and I say we, right? But once you, as a white person, whoever's listening, once you can peel away that I'm American. No, you're not. You need to peel that back. And you need to look at your ancestral roots, whatever that is. There's going to be a lot of medicine there for you to understand, like, how your people at one point were mistreated, mishandled, and seeing this sounds really weird, you guys, and I'm going to say it, but it's really, honestly, it's giving like vampire, and it's like understanding like who made me. Like, that's like always a vampire's like long story, is who made me, where are my people, like, kind of a thing. But like, it's not a good thing in this case. It is and it's not, right? It's like, where were you bitten? Like, when did it happen in your bloodline? Where did the bite of white supremacy happen in your bloodline? Which is so crazy to say it like that, but it's like that. It's genuinely like that. I wish that I had I might have to do another reading with my vampire cards here, because I do have those. Somebody bought those for me as a gift. And I typically use them for shadow work, which is what we're kind of stepping into, which is not actually shocking at all with the solar eclipse coming up, the new moon. There's something else. Saturn's doing crazy shit, moving into Aries. It does not surprise me, especially if like your Aries is like, if you're like me and you're a little 8th house baby, Aries, like your shit's getting rocked, right, left and right. As far as like, really, like, who am I? Let me take a sip of my tea. Yeah, you guys, that's so it's weird that it's being put in those terms, because that did not come through yesterday. But I knew I needed to sit with the message a little longer and everything, so it's not surprising. Let's go ahead and talk really quick. Since we're talking about universal knowledge, Spirit, I do want to use my Native American cards, because ain't getting more indigenous than that when we talk about America. If you will. Let's talk about universal knowledge. What would be the guidance of that card? Is there additional guidance with that card? Oop. Okay. We have Temperance and the Three of Chalices. Let me show you guys the imagery. The Crow and Temperance. And look at how he's healing the sick. Look, okay, this just validates the where have you been bitten. Like with the Crow, it very much feels like, and look at him. He's like in the there's the moon behind him. It is very much, very, very much, where did I come from? Where was I bitten? Where did this infiltration first occur? Once it's figured out, found out, that's your process. Once that is figured out, that's when the healing can come in, through like wisdom, through divorcing certain behaviors. This is where we get down in it, right? This isn't some of us are going to fight and others of us are going to stay home and fucking kick our feet up necessarily, right? This is no matter where you're called physically, we are all called to this line of work. This is where we are all called. When you're like, what do I do? What do I do? Start here, right? How do I fix this? Start here. Start in your blood. Start in your DNA. Because it is generational. All of this stuff is passed through. It's passed through the blood. It's a virus. It's a blood virus. In a very real way. DNA. It is a blood virus. White supremacy is a blood virus that has been propped up through improper use of power, improper use of God. That is taking the Lord's name in vain, which vain is a vibe. That word is a vibe in that moment. Think about it. Bugaboos. There's something I was saying before, but even with the Three of Chalices, that's the Three of Cups, right? That's your people. That's people coming together. It's not giving celebration. Like sometimes Three of Cups can be like, woo, yes, girl, we did it. Yeah, we're at the top of the mountain. But no, this is going back, finding the source, right? And in so many different ways. There's so many different words that I'm using that mean so many other things. The word source, the word vein, the word and there's digging that has to be done through you. I can say these words, but I can't lead you into what it is for you because that is not my part. That's not my job. My job is to kind of open up the box and be like, if you look inside this motherfucker, you're going to find something. I don't know what you're going to find, but I know that this is the box that I was given to give you. Okay? Like I am the deliverer, right? Like I'm just special delivery, right? Like that's me. But like I was saying is like, it's not just you have your fighters and your whatevers, right? Like, yes, that's all true. But like, it's so imperative that we all pause, wait, stop, and go backwards in this weird way. And we can even utilize the fact that we're going to be stepping into Mercury retrograde soon. The fact that all these planets are in motion right now. That just tells me like, it's so much bigger than us, right? It's so much higher than us. So we have to deal with it on a humanistic level, right? Like what can we do as humans? Okay. I do want to actually get the reading on the Crow and on Temperance because these are symbols and while I do channel things and read them like that, I also love to know what the artist meant, right? I think it's important, especially utilizing like, indigenous art. I want to know what they mean when they talk and when they paint and when they create. Okay, so Three of Chalices right here. It's Crow, the divine trickster, responsible for creation, able to free the sun, moon, and the stars with the force of his knowledge. Okay, you guys, universal knowledge again. Okay, his tongue is the lightning, and with a flap of its wings strikes up the wind. Again, with bringing in clarity, brushing away the dust, moving away the illusions, and kind of like tearing through the facade. And really, like, what did it, there was something else that it said, the divine trickster, responsible for creation. That's all very interesting to me too. The divine trickster, responsible for creation. In the vein, in the conversation, in the line of thought of people being like a white supremacy, that trickster energy, wolf in sheep's clothing energy, right? That's something to look at. In ways that you perpetuate that too in your own life, because we all have some part of ourselves that is acting automatically. Like we don't, it's like, you know, those parasites that overtake the mind of the like bug that it gets into. That's like what it is. And you know what's interesting too with this temperance card coming through, the water itself, is that with that bug, people dunk that bug, that the bug that's been taken over, compromised, they dunk it in water and the thing comes out of it and it dies. It's like a it's like a exorcism. And I feel like with temperance, it's kind of that same energy. There's a really highlight on water and like it being like the life force and going to the water. For a lot of people, ancestrally speaking, like that means, especially for Black Americans, that's a very powerful modality, right? Also just putting water on your altars, right? That's a conduit. Water is a conduit. That's a way to communicate. That's an open line to communicate with what is like divine and for you. Let's read temperance really quick. It's going to take me a second. Give me a moment because hun kapai, I think, brotherhood, temperance, the rite that simulates birth through the intertwined arms and legs and sprinkling of water that gives life. Two strangers thus become brothers. Yeah. And for me, when I read that, that comes down to what I was saying about like it being in the family, it being a blood thing, it being, it just being something that's passed down, something shared, right? And yeah. Moving on really quick. This also too, like with the Three of Chalices, it goes into the Sisters of the Star Blossom. I also want to say that I got the Blossoms of the Sky Dancer as well as Sister of the Star Blossoms. So there is definitely, with that word itself, it's coming across as there are things growing here. There is life here. There is like a blossoming of knowledge. There like these revelations and like being able to see ourselves more clearly and all those things, like there is still hope, right? That's like the energy that these things gave. And these are also the things that are overseeing us as we process through this, right? This is our ground level energy right here. This is our foundational energy. And when we move up here, these are the things that are overseeing this, that are helping us bring it through. Okay. And we have Archangel Anachel and Hillel. And I don't know if Anakal, it could be Anakal, Anankal, Ananchel, I don't know. Okay, let me just show you. And then also these are the goddess cards, Kuan Yin, the goddess of loving kindness. Okay, hi, whatever. Let me just slide. So I will show you guys these cards here. Okay, and I will read their meaning because I think it's really important. And I look these guys up for sure by name, but also it's also not just when I pulled these cards, it was also the energy, right? It wasn't just like, okay, these are the angels, these are the goddesses, right? It's the energy of these things that oversees, right? And I think it's very important to say that and state that, so that we're not hung up on names and categories as humans can be. And then overseeing all of this is time, right? Timing, which I'll show you guys, which is also giving like a reaching through the veil, right? In the meantime, go back. While this is sorting itself out, while these things are moving, take the time to go back. All right. Let me get these, the readings for the angels. 15. Okay, so Jalal, I think. Jalal. And it's fixer of souls. I'm sorry. Whoa, that was crazy as hell. Fixer of faults. Interesting. This angel, and this is him here. I'm going to show you guys. This angel bestows victory to the vulnerable. We see in this card the saying that where there is a will, there is a way. This angel particularly brings attention to relationships, helping us fix faults, our own and those of others, and find harmony. If there is a situation that is broken, this card in a future position assures us that we will find a solution. The challenge: let go of control, even if it leaves you feeling vulnerable, right? And that goes hand in hand with these vulnerable feelings here that are just, I mean, God, you don't have to be a seer to see that, right? It's vulnerable. You're scared. We get it, right? The lesson is there is a power that protects those who truly love. And that goes back to what I was saying about in the very, very beginning when I was talking about like the people that have been out here committing the harm and manipulating and harming and hurting and just taking and hoarding. No, don't even trip on it. Like they'll get it. They're getting it now, right? Even if you can't see it yet, they're getting it now. Okay, 24. This is Anachel. Whoop. What's his name? What's his number? 24. Okay. This really has to do with a lot with blossoms. So it's a beauty bringer. Okay. Again, with our blossoms, our flowers, right? And also like with the mushroom, that's why I felt the need to pull from like my mushroom oracle deck too. When I saw these mushrooms, it really is giving like, transmutation, not transmutation, but like the breaking down of something in order to make something new. Maybe that is transmutation. Maybe that is what it is, but transformation, renewal, cycle, right? Endings, beginnings, all of that. Okay. So, this angel is the grace of God and asks that we do what is most beautiful, create what is most harmonious, and love what we do. If you are struggling, this card shows that you must rather turn your hand to something that you love. Challenge: doing what is good, not what appears necessary. Okay, this goes really hand in hand with what I was saying initially, in regards to like, yeah, it's going to feel like we need to fight and it's going to feel like, but like, there's something here that's very cautionary about that. The lesson: only that which is built from love will survive. But what I will read, you guys, is from the mushroom, because it's timing. It's very obvious, but I will read that one because I think that people get really anxious when we're told basically take your hands off. We want control. We don't like feeling vulnerable. Like as humans, like we are programmed to be like, no, I got it, right? Like we don't want to feel like something can just come sneak up on us and eat us. Like I get that. We share that in common, but we have to have faith and we have to create and love and be in our joy anyway. And I know a lot of people are really against the joy is resistance trope right now. I understand, but that is real. And it's not going to feel right all the time. It's not going to feel right. We're doing what is good, not what we think is necessary. Or what was it? We're doing what's good, not necessarily what we think is necessary, right? Because we don't see everything. We can't. Okay. All right. So timing. Dead man's fingers may give you a fright if you come upon it, but rest assured it's harmless. It can grow up to 8 centimeters tall, initially starting off white and maturing to brown or black, while the flesh inside remains white. It grows from stumps and buried dead wood and especially loves beech trees. It pokes up through the dead leaves on the ground and moss. Some mushrooms only last for days, but dead man's fingers can last a few years. When its spores are released over a long period, it will eventually find a favorable time. Okay, there's a lot to dissect even just in those words. Okay, so sit with that too. Here's the card meaning. Timing is key here. Are you needing to wait until the time is right, or do you try and try again until you achieve the right time? Some things can't be rushed and other things are very time sensitive. So if you have the power to control the timing to work in your best interest, do so. If you know when the right time is, wait until then and don't push it, don't rush in beforehand. Just as you grow seeds into a plant, you cannot plant seeds in the wrong season and expect them to grow. If you are uncertain what the right time is, just keep moving until you do know. Okay, that's that joy, right? That's that joy, that's that living anyway. And I don't mean like go to work anyway, cook dinner, be fucking sad. No, sit, have these conversations, gather together, create something. It doesn't, I don't know what it looks like for you guys, right? But allow spirit to ignite your passion, your power. It can't happen if we're like fucking angry and bogged down, right? We got to channel it into something constructive. And right now, only you can decide what that looks like, okay? Just safety for you and protection over you. If it is important, the right time will appear. Timing is a funny thing. If you wait too long, you can miss the boat. If you arrive too early, you might think the boat has left, but it hasn't come yet. Let your intuition be your guide and let everything unfold in divine timing. Don't push because you are impatient. Let it come to you because you are in vibrational alignment. Look at the reasons around why you might not be achieving something and see what you have to learn from it. Remember, time only exists in the physical realm. You are a limitless being who can transcend time and space. When you learn your lesson, you break patterns and cycles. So if you do the inner work, shifts can happen instantaneously. And that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. If we do the inner work, we've got to start there. It has to start in germination process. We have to go back. We have to go back into the seed. Okay, we have to go back into our lines, our bloodlines, right? And figure out where it is that we were first infected, where we were first infiltrated, where we were first bitten. Okay, that is all that I'm seeing, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back with a For the Poor podcast tomorrow at 2 p.m. You can catch me there, or of course you can watch my videos. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like, a subscribe. That helps me know that like my messages are actually hitting, they're landing, people are seeing them, they're interacting with it, right? I love the validation that inspires me to continue, right? I think we all need to know like that thumbs up, that, hey, yeah, I see you. I like what you're doing. Keep doing that, right? We all need that sometimes. And sometimes we need it in the physical, even if we already have it in here, right? So with that, you guys, I will see you on my next one, and take care, rest, be joy, be joyous, and have a peaceful, peaceful, peaceful Wednesday.